a sheet here, one of the supplementary sheets here, you can find the words to the song that we're singing. A song of coming back, of coming together, coming to finding where we were from last year, and finding ourselves in the same place, returning again. So the first part is repeat after me. It goes like this. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
And then together we return, return again. Let's try that again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again and again to love, to love, to love, to love. We return again to love. We return, one more.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone,
Shalom.
and welcome. My name is Rabbi Rebecca Epstein, and this is our student cantor here at West End Temple, Gabriel Lerman. We have our president, Dr. Sherry Copeland, here on the bima on our altar area, and we have also our bar mitzvah student, Kurt. Yay! So, wow, we return. This is the time in the Jewish calendar when we are returning for the start of a new year, which is going to be celebrated in just a week. And here at this moment, we have the holiday of Slichot, which is really the beginning of the holiday season, when we start to think about what do we want to return to? How do we want to be in this new year? What can we find in our lives that we want to elevate and return to, come back to, lift up? And what a beautiful time to be celebrating a bar mitzvah, a time when a student has reached an age where they can take on the commandments and the ethics and the traditions of the Jewish people and figure out where their journey within Jewish adulthood is going to take them. So it's a time of newness all around in the calendar and for Kurt, and we're so happy to be here to celebrate this together. And we're going to sing now another song that's very typical of this season, this month leading up to Rosh Hashanah, the month of Elul. It's called Achat Sha'alti. You can find the lyrics, the words here from the Psalms in our handout. And here we're really thinking about being in the house of God. So here we are in a sanctuary, and it's also a metaphorical house, a house of comfort, a house of joy, a house of shelter, a house of protection. And so we sing together, Achat Sha'alti.
Achat Sha'alti mi beit Adonai Achat Sha'alti mi beit
So in Jewish tradition, when a student comes to the age of 13, they are able to put on the talit, the prayer shawl. The prayer shawl signifies the mitzvot, the commandments of Judaism, with the tzitzit, the special fringes that are on the four corners of the garment. And it also symbolizes being wrapped and embraced by our tradition and by our community and friends and family. So I'm going to invite right now Kurt's mom, Lisa, to give Kurt this beautiful talit.
Comes all the way from Jerusalem,
From Jerusalem.
and it's hand painted.
Wait, hold on, we're going to give it to him just like this, and he's going to say the bracha. So you can stand here. Ready? Baruch.
Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lemit atev tzitzit.
That's it. That'll work. It's beautiful. Give mom a hug. That's awesome. Okay, we can have a seat. Oh, keep on. We're going to turn to page 28 in our prayer books. Yours probably doesn't say Rabbi's copy, do not remove on it, but otherwise basically the same. And it's on page 28. We're going to rise as we continue with the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. You may be seated. Let's turn to page 31. We're going to read together at the top of the page. Beautiful prayer based on the Ma'ariv Aravim, thinking about how God is with us in all kinds of transitions, from day to night, from season to season, thinking about how even through times of change and challenge that God is with us. So we read together, "Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim." We turn together to page 34. Come to the Shema, the time in the service when we connect with that oneness that we can sense. Sometimes the oneness that connects all of us, connects ourselves to the broader universe. So some people like to close their eyes during this prayer to really just tune into what is going on inside and listen to what is going on both inside and outside. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי כי אתם קדושים לאלוהיהם אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Continue on page 40 with our people's song for freedom, the Micha Mocha.
Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha neda b'kodesh, Nora tehilloto sevelem, Nora tehilloto sevelem. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Beautiful, everyone. We're going to turn to our sheets again to our next page where you're going to see song One Day. This song was written by Matisyahu, kind of a famous Jewish rapper that you might have heard of, and maybe not. And he wrote this beautiful song about his hopes for the future. And then Craig Taubman came along and put that together with a prayer, Hashkivenu, a prayer for protection, prayer for shelter. And so, let's do it.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will say, one day, one day, one day, one day, one Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. One day, 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 one day.
So we are going to do a purposeful schmooze.
Oh, great. Okay.
Which I'm throwing in there because we have a critical mass now, and we have some folks who are here from out of town to celebrate Kurt's bar mitzvah. Friends and family are here. We have congregants from West End Temple, so we're so excited to welcome everybody here. And we have something that we've been doing here at the temple called the Purposeful Schmooze. So schmooze in Yiddish means to chat, and we're gonna schmooze with a purpose. And the purpose is to get to know one another and to build our community and to kind of go beneath the surface of what you would normally consider maybe a normal schmooze. And I'm going to just ask everyone to think about, we just sang the prayer one day. What is one thing that you hope for our world? So think about that thing for a minute. And then I want you to go ahead and stand up if you are able and find someone that you don't know. Maybe, especially I'm going to call upon people from our congregation to be really outgoing here and find someone that they've never met before and meet someone new and find out what do they hope for one day. And go ahead, stand up. You can get out into the pews, believe it or not, go for it. And then we're going to ultimately come back to our seats and remain standing. I don't think you all believe me that we're standing up right now and we're going to chat. We're going to find out what happens one day for someone new. Everyone, beautiful schmoozing. So awesome. I'm going to invite everyone to go ahead and return to their seats, and you can remain standing when you get there. Sometimes, really nice, good, okay. Yeah, you're great, it's fine, no big deal. Oh, thank you, Jill. That's so nice of you. So sometimes it's hard to start the Purposeful Schmooze, but it's even more hard to stop it, which is good. So I heard some good prayers. Heard a prayer for peace in the Ukraine. Was praying for an end to a lot of carbon emissions over here. That's what I'm thinking about. And so we take all those prayers and we join together with our standing prayer, our opportunity to really pour out what is on our hearts to the divine. We're going to start on page 46, and then Kurt is going to lead us in a couple of prayers as well. We'll have a chance for silent prayer after that. Page 46.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Anu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zoker Haste Avot Ve'imahot Umei Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo B'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'azrat Sarah Atah Yibor le'al Adonai Mehaye Hakol Atah Rav leHoshia Mehalkel Hayim Behesed Mehaye Hakol Berachamim Ramim Somech Noflim Berohe Holim Umatir Asurim Umikayem Enunato Lishene Afar Mihamo Chabal Givurot Umidom Elach Melech Memit Umikaye Umatziach Yeshua Venaman Halahayot Hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mehaye Hakol.
Continue with silent prayer, meditation, breathing, all the way through to page 62, using the words in the Siddur or the words in your own heart, after which you may be seated. We continue now with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. And I'd like to invite the Thompson family to come on up and open the ark. And as they come on up, let's turn to page 245. Please rise. Go ahead.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omed. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omed. Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim, Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. And
may be seated, everyone. So, among the amazing things about Kurt's bar mitzvah today is that we know that it was supposed to be in May, and we were all super excited for it to be in May, and then due to the pandemic and everything that goes with it, it didn't happen. And here we are today. We returned to the synagogue, right? We came to finally be at this day. But the Torah reading that Kurt was going to do in May is still the Torah, was that meant for that day, which was the holiday of Shavuot. But since Kurt had already learned it, he is just going to read the same one that is today. So it kind of, over this time during COVID, has created these interesting sort of synergies between parts of the Torah that are read on different days when kids have had to reschedule. And so we have the opportunity to make even more Torah out of that. So Kurt was going to be reading the 10 Commandments for Shavuot, which is the holiday when we celebrate the receiving of the 10 Commandments. And now we're right here before Rosh Hashanah on the holiday of Slichot, and we are going to hear the 10 Commandments. So it's pretty cool, and it's appropriate for this holiday too, when we really think about who it is that we want to be and kind of the fundamentals of who we are, and how we are to conduct ourselves in this world, that we think again about the 10 Commandments. So we are going to turn now in our Torah books to page 476, and Kurt is going to be reading from that. 76. You're going to see there a gray page that says Decalogue for public reading, which means 10 Commandments. And Kurt is going to be reading from verse 12 through verses 12 and 13. So that is going to be Kurt's reading right there. And so as part of the bar mitzvah, one of the special things that we do is we call the student up by their Hebrew name for the first time as a member of the adult Jewish people. And so Kurt, actually, we realized in this process that Kurt did not have a Hebrew name per se as of yet. And so we figured out what Kurt's Hebrew name was going to be. And so I want to just share a little bit about that. So a lot of times we name our children in Ashkenazic Jewish tradition after a loved one who has passed away. So Kurt chose the name Hadass. Lisa's sister Sandy passed away, and her Hebrew name was Esther. Esther is from the story of Purim. And one of the cool things about Esther is that in this amazing story about Esther being a queen in the king's palace and having to hide her true identity, she actually has another name, and that name is Hadassah. And so Kurt, we came to the name Hadass, which is a variation of Hadassah. Now stick with me here through one more thing. A hadass is a myrtle branch. It's a branch of a tree, and we use the myrtle branch along with two other types of branches and an etrog, a lemon type of fruit, during the holiday of Sukkot. So, okay, we have so many, we have like every single holiday represented here: Purim and Slichot and Shavuot and everything coming all together. And what's so cool, though, about Hadass is that Kurt and Lisa first came to the synagogue on Sukkot of 2017. So there are a ton of amazing layers in this name, which is Hadass ben Leah. So we're excited to call up Hadass ben Leah to the Torah for the Torah Aliyah. So student Cantor is going to call Kurt up right now.
Ya Amor, Ya Amor, Ya Amor, Hadass ben Leah, La Aliyah, La Bar Mitzvah, La Torah.
Okay, so let's make sure we have your spot. Okay, I'm going to switch with you so you stand in the middle. And let's see, we're going to have Gabriel hold. Gabriel, can you hold this right here? And let's get you your Torah blessing first. Okay, so you are right here. Okay, but we're going to do the bracha first.
Okay.
So hold on one second. Okay, 1, 2, 3, baruch.
Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, venatan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai, notein haTorah.
Amen.
Kabed et aviha ve'et imeha, lema'an ya'arihun yameha ama asher Adonai Eloheha noten lach lo tirtzach lo tignaf lo tignov lo na'ane bere'aha et shaker.
Nice. Okay. Here we go. Let's close up this.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata betoheinu. Baruch Ata Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua koach. Okay, you can sit down right over here. That's beautiful. Amazing. So in the presence of our Torah, we turn our thoughts now to those in our lives who are in need of healing, of body, of mind, and spirit. And so we turn together to the Misha Beirach prayer, which is on page 253. And if you'd like to pray for people in our community who are in need of healing, we have our community Misha Beirach list here in our pamphlet. And if you'd like to share the name of someone for whom you are praying, please do so as my eyes meet yours. Page 253. We rise now as we lift and dress the Torah. I'd like to call Alyssa Burke and Jill Stone to help to dress the Torah, and Julie and Ben Sanseverino as well to come on up to the Bima. There's the other cover right Beautiful, everyone. You may be seated. So next, we are going to hear Kurt teach us from his studies. And as I was saying before, in preparation for the date of Shavuot, Kurt learned about the story of Ruth, which is read during the holiday of Shavuot. And Ruth is an incredible story. You're going to hear more about it from Kurt. But it's a story of Ruth, who is a Moabite, ending up marrying into an Israelite family, but her husband dies, and she ends up staying with her mother-in-law, Naomi, and returning to the land of Canaan after a stay in Moab, after a famine, and adapting Naomi's life and her traditions, and she's known as the first convert in Judaism. And Kurt and I studied many midrashim, many texts related to the story of Ruth. And so Kurt not only wrote an explanation of his study of Ruth, but also created an amazing painting, an original midrash, and an original interpretation of the story of Ruth. So Kurt is going to share his Devar Torah, his words of Torah, with us right now, and then explain to us about the painting, which you're going to see after the Devar Torah.
A pattern that I, along with a large portion of you, have seen in the media is that teens and young adults are more likely than not to reject their parents, often out of embarrassment. And I myself have done this on more than one occasion. Yet, while we become our own people as teens, it is still important to respect your parents and those that came before you, for they have experienced things that you are going through and are willing to lend a hand when asked. This does not mean that you should let people walk all over you, but rather be open to advice from elders. This, of course, makes a good segue into the topic of Ruth and Naomi, an elder Jew willing to teach a younger one our ways. When the husbands of Ruth and Orpah passed on, instead of rejecting Naomi, the only guiding figure left in her life, Ruth instead clung to Naomi, wishing to become a Jew like her. Even with her new faith, Ruth was still far from wealthy, so she had no choice but to glean the remains of the barley harvest. One fateful day, Ruth was gleaning in the field of an Israelite named Boaz, who also happened to not only be her distant cousin, but also had an obligation to marry her. That happened a lot in ancient times. Do not question it. Naomi encourages Ruth to remarry and start a new life with Boaz, so she does. Why do we read the book of Ruth? There are many theories, but the one I am most partial to is that, like Ruth accepting the Jewish faith, we have accepted the Torah. Shavuot, for those who did not know, is the celebration of our gift that keeps on giving, our Torah. Why do we keep accepting the Torah? In many cases, it is because we feel the need to keep the Torah and all of our Jewish literature alive. For if we do not know it, how could we spread it to the generations after us? I have accepted the Torah and taken up a role of a bar mitzvah, or son of the commandment, out of a need for consistency, something that remains the same for years on end, something that withstands the tricks of time. Us Jews have been around for nearly 6,000 years, and in that time, many have tried to put an end to religion by banning our texts, and worse. It is a miracle that the Torah is still being read, even to this day, but in order for this to continue, we must let the Torah into our lives, if only for a second.
Okay, should we turn the painting around?
Go ahead. Ladies, gentlemen, and assorted temple goers, I present to you this rushed, yet somehow meaningful painting of Ruth and Naomi, and how I interpreted their story. As you can see, on this side, Ruth is looking behind at the familiar. A blue sky, sun, mountains, a river. And on the other side, Ruth is with Naomi. The sky is red and green, a bunch of wacky colors, and there's the moon. Why is the moon out in a green sky? I have no clue. But anyway, the mountains and the river are also there, showing that even when some things change, still others remain the same.
Beautiful, Yashikoy. Beautiful. So, as you can see, Kurt has put a lot into this bar mitzvah, from painting and writing and Hebrew and going through a change in what date it was and everything. So we really have a lot to celebrate with this student becoming a bar mitzvah. And so I think that we have some candy under our seats. Is that a thing that is true? And at this time, we are going to gently, underhand, toss the candy as we sing Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov. And please try to avoid the Torah and aim for Kurt.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Siman Tov. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu,
Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Beautiful. Woo! Amazing. There's the smile. Awesome. So, Kurt, come on, because your mom is now going to share a blessing for you. So, Lisa, you can come up here and be right here so we hear you.
So I first want to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us today for this heartwarming occasion. I'm so grateful for the gathering today of our village. We know we have your love and support always. Thank you for joining us to celebrate this blessing and milestone. And I wrote it, can you stay with me, please? I wrote it as a letter to you. Dear Kurt, as you venture into this next phase of your journey, I want you to know without exception how very proud I am of you, and words cannot convey how much I love you.
Why are you crying? Why were you crying?
I'm emotional.
Don't be!
It's all good. We're allowed to have feelings, right? The past few years have been difficult for you and I and everyone. You have shown me how determined and strong you are. You have shown and taught me how to be authentically yourself. How it is okay to say you are hurting, how to say you need something, how to know yourself so well that instinctively you know how to ground yourself. Most days I learn from you how to be a better person, a better mom, and a better human. I admire your quest for knowledge, caring about the world we live in, and know with you in it, the world is a better place. Continue this journey, my baby, in quotes. Continue to practice truth-telling and be authentically you. Those traits will bring you on some amazing adventures in your lifetime. When you were born, I knew you were the child I had been waiting for my whole life. The space in my heart that was waiting, especially for you and uniquely for you. I love you more than words can express. I am beaming with pride, and I will always be your biggest cheerleader and fan. I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be.
Beautiful. Want your glasses? So everyone, we just heard from Kurt such beautiful teaching, such beautiful Torah, and one of the things that Kurt reminded us of is the importance of engaging in our tradition, of engaging in Torah, of studying it, of taking something that's so old, that's 6,000 years old, and making it new for today. And to do that, you really have to engage in it. You have to dig into it, and I think that's exactly what we were able to do over the months that we were studying together. So it was a great, great pleasure. I learned a lot. And we'll always remember some of the things that we learned together about Ruth and about your interpretation, especially the part that you just mentioned about the river, about how even when things change, there is that sense of continuity, something that is connecting past to future. And on the note of connecting the past to the future, yes, get the candy, that's awesome. Thank you. And we're here to celebrate also and mark the holiday of Slichot. And in just a minute, what we're going to do is we're going to change our Torah cover. So Ben is holding the Torah. It has a blue cover. And over there are our white covers. And you will notice that many of us here today are wearing white. And the idea here is that we are taking the old year, we're saying goodbye to it. We're taking the things from the past year that we want to take with us, and we're going to go into the new year, but with a fresh start. And so that is what the white Torah covers and wearing white over the holidays symbolizes, is the notion of renewing, of renewal. We sang at the beginning of the service, we return, that we're returning to something old, our tradition, and our holidays, something that we do year after year, but in a new way, because we are new this year. We have gone through different things over the year, and we are ready to start a new chapter, to really think and reflect about what happened in the past, and then be able to move forward into the future and think about renewing our commitments to things of purpose and meaning, renewing the journey to living according to our ideals, and renewing our most important relationships. So we're kind of, especially as the candy is coming off the bima, we are reminded that we're going to kind of go from something really festive, which is the celebrating of this bar mitzvah and Torah, and we're going to move into a little more of a solemn part of our service, the service of slichot, of changing our Torah covers, of singing some of the songs of the holidays that will kind of get us into the mood of reflection and repentance, but also renewal and the joy that comes with, wearing white and coming into a new chapter of life. So at this time, we are going to rise, and I'd like to invite some of our congregants to help with changing the Torah cover. So Scott and Stacy and Richard and Sherry, if you could come on up, and let's rise.
If you want to sing along, right? Oh, not yet. Okay. If you want to sing along, you can find the words on the supplementary sheet. Adonai, Adonai. נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד באמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד באמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה.
Stripping. Take the silver caps over top.
Just with the larger one.
Okay, there's one right there.
Yeah.
Start putting the plates back on. Dress it in. I guess it's smaller set.
This one, I took that one off. Yeah, I can take the yellow too.
our thoughts turn now to those who have been taken from this earthly presence and have moved on to the next part of this existence, whatever that is. And I want to share, as many in our congregation know, that this week we lost maybe what we might call the matriarch of our congregation, Lynn Cranberg, who was 97, and she was the oldest living member of our congregation. And I had the honor of sitting with her about a week and a half ago, where she shared with me some of her lessons from life. And so her main teaching that I just want to pass on in her memory is to love one another. That was a major, major focus for her throughout her life. And she said, it's so important to cultivate loving relationships in your family, to encourage one another, to love each other, to make time and effort to grow love in families and with friends and community. And so I want to pass on that teaching. It's so fitting for this time of year when we think about the renewal of our ideals and purpose and meaning, and that how really at the foundation of that is love, and how we could come back to that at all times as much as possible, and as hard as it is sometimes. So in Lynn's memory, I just invite everyone to really think about that and be inspired by her legacy that she leaves us of love. So would anyone like to share now, is anyone in the period of Shiva, 7 days following the passing of a loved one, or Shaloshim, 30 days, or Shana, 1 year? Is anyone observing a yard site this week? The anniversary of a passing? Okay. And Kurt's family is thinking also of loved ones who couldn't be here today, whose presence is with us, though they have themselves departed. So Kurt's grandparents, Doreen and Larry Heller, and Robert Salmon, and Kurt's aunt, Sandy Knapp. We turn now to page 294 as we rise for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon u'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, and comfort to all the bereaved among us. And we say together, amen. You may be seated. This time in our service, we would like to present Kurt with a gift from the congregation. So I'd like to invite Alyssa Burke, who is the co-chair of our religious school committee, to present the gift.
What is it?
Exciting. First of all, I would love to congratulate you and your family. You did a wonderful job today. Can I give you a hug?
You may.
You did an amazing job today.
Thank you, Miss Burke.
Listen. And your Devar Torah, your Torah portion was absolutely amazing. And I love how you integrated the art, your love of art, and your writing into it. Absolutely amazing. You did wonderful. And I've known Kurt for 5 years since she's been to the temple, and I've watched grow. We grew immensely. And I know Kurt inside and outside the temple. We go on ferry rides. We share a love of books, a love of reading. I still want to know the title of that book. You never shared it with me yet. I'm going to read it next, right? You're going to share it with me? I hope so. And you did a wonderful job. And on behalf of the West End Temple, we are presenting you with a Kiddush cup. remember, no drinking until you're 21 though. And we
Who
do
says I can't drink water or
grape
juice in
juice.
it?
Grape juice. No drinking alcohol. Water and juice is wonderful. And chumash, that is engraved with your name in it as well. And there will be a leaf on the tree outside with your name in it and the date.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out now.
I don't know if it's up yet, but it will be up shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. You did amazing.
Thank you too, Miss Burke.
Oh, okay, can I have a seat? That's it? Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, everyone, we have come almost to the end of our service. We're going to sing together Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. I'm going to try to find the words for you, but the words are Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu Salam Shalom. Ending our service today with a wish for peace, where we started when we were thinking about one day, maybe what we're all hoping for. Then after our song, what we're going to do is we're going to make our way outside to end Shabbat with the short ceremony of Havdalah, and that's where we're going to have Julie hold this beautiful Kiddush cup, which is from Kurt's grandfather, passed down into the family, and Ben is going to hold our Havdalah candle, and then lead us in Motzi after the service. So after the song, I invite everyone, we're going to head right outside. We're going to hopefully create a little bit of a circle. The idea here was to do camp style, Eden Village, camp style Havdalah, which is outside with a guitar singing and appreciating being together as we start the new Jewish week. So, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
And if you don't know the words, you can join along with Yai Dai Dai or with your hands, however you want to help out. Here we go. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Tricked you there a little bit. Sorry about that.
Good ending. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shavuot Tov and Shana Tova. May you have a happy and sweet new year if you are celebrating. And we are going to go right outside right now and continue with Havdalah.